Hey everybody, happy Friday, and thanks for being here for Rolling Pin Friday. So we're coming over. We've got your tool, which is your rolling pin. Whoops, I'm gonna need to just up this up just a little bit so you'll be able to see me okay. I think that's better. So I don't get my head chopped off too much. So anyway, so here we are, Rolling Pin Friday. You have a rolling pin. Another option that we have that's available to us is called a stick. You can order it online, and the name of it is a stick, and it's a smaller, narrower piece, and it's got little rolling apparatuses on it. You can find it at Target, you can find it at Walmart, and all kinds of sporting goods stores. So another thing I wanted to bring up to you today too is that on Sunday we talked about cues for working out, and you notice I've always wearing a hat when we do our workouts, and that's my cue. That's my personal cue that I use for myself. When I put my hat on, I know I put it out and I put it on and I go, it's time for Bonnie to work out and take care of her body. So that's my personal cue. And I hope you've been kind of playing around with the thoughts of what might be your personal cue. So anyway, let's get started. We're going to take our rolling pin and we're going to roll out our thighs first. Then we're going to come and do a little upper body and the back of the body rolling out. And then we'll have our muscles will be nice and free and feeling really good from the rolling. And then we'll go into our little workout to finish it off and just free up the joints even more and do some strength training. All right, on the mat, some core strength training. So from here, we're going to take a rolling pin and I want you to go real soft with it. And we're just going to roll down the top of our thigh. And you can do this on whatever speed works for you, but the main thing is don't push too hard. Just kind of go light with it and going out to the outside of the thigh, to the inside of the thigh. And then what we're going to do now, if you're comfortable with it, I'm sitting on the edge of my chair. I can scoot back a little bit. We're going to move the knee joint. So that's the muscles that you're rolling out are the ones that control the knee for this extending and flexing. Here we go. And that just feels super nice. Going into the inner thigh and just really feeling that nice rub. And then from here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put my foot down and I'm going to go down the side of my calf. And as I do that, I'm going to be lifting up my foot and just as I go to the side, lifting up my toes, engaging my toes because all of those muscles are in the shin area and on the side of the calf. Just going back and forth. And then we're going to come to the back onto the actual calf muscle. And this time as we're moving, we're going to lift the heel off. So we're going back and forth. And again, feel free to kind of roll down, go exploring your body, being the explorers that we are. And just a light pressure. And as you're doing this, you might feel I feel like this coolness that goes through my muscles. It feels so good. And a really nice thing to do before you work out. So next thing we do is we come right down here onto our foot. And so here it's just a light, nice roll through the foot. You decide how it should feel for you. Just a nice little rub, getting into my heel bone, kind of moving around. And another option you will have is a tennis ball. You can do the same thing with a tennis ball. Or maybe a little firmer ball, and you could roll it around and do the same thing. But I kind of like the rolling pin. I think it's kind of fun. All right, so I got my foot done. So now I'm going to come over to the other side. Same thing. And again, feel free to just take your time, wander around here a little bit. I'm going to scoot back in the chair so I can begin moving my leg, straightening and bending and straightening and bending as I'm exploring that rolling pin action. Feels super good. Shoo. Inner leg, that's where I need it the most. My inner leg is just kind of a little tight today. Every day is a new day in our bodies. I'm just going with what it is. It's pretty awesome. Okay. And then from here, we're going to go ahead and we're going to set our foot down. Then we're going to go down to the outside. And as we do this, we're going to lift up our heel, step our foot out, lift the heel up, lift the toes up, moving the toes around, and just breathing enjoying. And you can do all of this, a little bit of it. You can do it, break it up how you need to. We're going to take the rolling pin to the back now onto the cap directly. Now as I do this, I'm going to lift up my heel off the ground as I roll the pin around onto my cap directly. And again, I've got a very light rub going on here, not too heavy, just energetic and really nice. I'm going to wear out my rolling pin, I think, this year, before the year is over. I'm going to roll myself out so much. It's going to be so great. Okay, so we did thighs, inner, outer. We did the lower leg. Now we're going to come down to the hamstring, or we're going to go to the back of the body into the hamstring here. So what we'll do is we'll scoot to the front edge of your chair, make sure it's nice and sturdy, and I'm going to take the rolling pin and I'm going to take it right onto the back of the thigh right here, called the hamstring. And as I'm moving my leg in and out, again, giving myself a super nice rub. Feels good. Nice and easy. Good. Nice. And then I'm going to go over the other side, same thing. Just taking it into the hamstring, back of the thigh. And as I begin moving, I'm moving my leg in and out. And I'm feeling, for me, it's just like the little edgy places in my thighs and tightness. And I just, when I meet those places, I just go really even lighter. Try not to push into them. I know our tendency is to want to push, but oftentimes your body will rebel. So it's oftentimes just kind of give it a little acknowledgement and then move around it and come back to it, and move around it and come back to it. All right, and usually your body will respond a little bit better to that. So now my legs are really humming. They feel so good. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the upper body, and so we're going to take the rolling pin in one hand. We're going to take our arm out, and we're going to do a nice little forearm rub. And I'm going to come in here, and as I do that, I'm just moving my wrist, my hand, and I'm going to come even down into my hand. This feels really nice, a place that we don't pay a lot of attention to. And I think our fingers, our hands, our forearms get a lot of work during the day holding on to our phones. I'm doing a lot of texting, typing, whatever. And then I'm going to come up here into my upper arm, my bicep. And as I do my bicep, I'm going to give it a little in and out movement here. And my coordination is a little off here, but that's all right. And then we're going to come to the back of the arm, same deal. I'm just going here and rolling in and out, just moving my joint, however happy I want to be. There's no right or wrong. It's just, whatever you do, just move your joint. Perfect. As long as it feels good, you're in the right space. Okay, so I did all that. Now I'm going to come over to right up in here between my shoulder and my neck, and this is what we call the upper trap area. And I'm just going to give a nice little rub using the opposite hand, rubbing it out. Oh, that feels nice. And maybe even taking it over into the mid back, which you can probably see in the mirror there, which is nice for you to get another view. So you've got that going there, coming around. And we're going to go to the other side. So just be careful you don't bump yourself in the head. I've almost done it a couple of times. So here we go. We're taking it through into the forearm. And again, have fun. Just if you want to pause me and take a little more time in a certain space, or just kind of pay attention a little more. You don't have to go through the whole routine. And then we're going to come up here into the bicep, opening, closing, opening, closing. So I'm getting that nice elbow joint moving. And then I'm going to go underneath. Same thing, opening, closing, open, and just rolling around as I do this. Feels super good. And my legs are still humming. They feel really light. They feel really good. And it's been a busy day and I've been on them all day, so it feels really nice. And my hips feel pretty open too, which is pretty unusual for me. All right, so from here, we're going to take that. I'm going to take it over here, and we're going to take it into that space right here again. Just kind of rubbing into here. And then I can take that in the same hand and just reach back into my back. And just giving my upper back a little rub, and you just decide where that is for you. Oh, that feels so nice. All right, So what we'll do now is we're going to take a little standing, and pardon my head being chopped off, but you'll get the idea here is we want to really go into the lower back and just giving that a rub into the waist and down the lower back. And again, really feeling what's comfortable. And remember, as Donna's workout on Wednesday, watching your posture, make sure you hold yourself right over your heels and follow her guidelines for standing up. Okay, great. Now we're going to go into the bum muscle on each side. And that nice little rub. And then if you wanted to be real daring, you could just move your leg up and down as you rub your bum out. And your shoulders get a nice little workout rubbing too. And you're stepping back. Or you can just stay as you were too. It's up to you. All right. So we're all rolled up. My body's humming with energy, ready to work. So I'm going to move the chair out of the way. And you're going to come down onto your towel. I hope you have a towel. I think you'll enjoy that more because we'll be working on some positioning for working your abdominals and keeping your neck really nice and safe feeling. All right, so we're going to walk our heels in as close as we can. Take your hands out to the side, or you can just roll to the side. Come on down onto your mat, towel, whatever works for you. You're going to take your your rolling pin, and we're going to place it right on the bones of the pelvis. So if you're not familiar with the anatomy, they have these two bones that stick out right near the hip crease, and that kind of links us into our upper body to our lower body, and it's our pretty much our motor from where our bum connects and pushes us through space. So what we'll do is we'll walk. We want to be hip width apart with the knees. Make sure the upper leg, lower leg, and the feet are aligned. Lift onto your heels. And once you lift onto your heels, you're going to just gently hold that roll there to give you some clues of what's happening as we lift up. So I'm going to keep my spine, what we call neutral, the natural curves of the spine. And we're going to push up in one piece, and that foam roll just lifts. There's no tilt to it. Just straight up and straight down. I keep calling it foam roll. It's a rolling pin. Up and back down. We're going to do 10. And here's 3. The bottom muscle's working. The back of the legs are working. And 4. And back. And breathe out. 5. And back. And breathe out. 6. And back. And 7. And back. And 8, and back, and 9, and back, and here's for 10, and that should be all bottom muscle right there. Drop your toes down to the mat, and slowly lower your hips down onto the mat. Then from here, with the rolling pin still on your pelvis, I want you to think of your lower belly muscle, this muscle right down in here. We're going to draw into that lower belly muscle, and we're going to roll the rolling pin towards your navel. And you're going to release it back to that nice yoga block position of pelvis. So we call this a yoga block, or I call it the yoga block position. It's a nice square of the pelvis. Then you just engage the lower belly, allow everything to relax. Just use your lower belly, and the rolling pin will roll, and it'll come back. Just lightly hold it with your hands. Feel how it rolls and releases. And here's your exhale to roll and release. We're going to do 10. And if you have a tight lower back, this is such nice work. It's exhale gently as we engage our lower belly. You'll find your lower back is going to be so much happier. And it just gently stretches it. As long as it feels good, everything you do should feel nice and easy to move and not feeling these sharp pains or blockages. If you feel a block and your body doesn't want to move, don't force it. Just invite yourself to be there, but don't go beyond. Just really listen in. That's how I teach to work out. Listen to your body. It's so important. I'm going to do 2 more. And exhale and release. And it's just that lower belly, bottom muscles relaxed, feet are relaxed, and release. That was super nice. All right, so take that rolling pin to the side. now we can utilize this amazing hat here, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to take our hands into the bill of the hat, and I'll show you this first. So we're holding on here. I'm going to maintain that yoga block, and if you wanted to put your rolling pin on here just to make sure, that yoga block pelvis, and I'm going to gently engage my belly up here now and just lift my head and chest up without rolling the pin at all. And again, or you can take it down, whatever works for you. You can put books on your belly just to make sure your belly goes in deep, but not using your pelvis to a tilt to make this action happen. I'm really focusing here. Exhaling up, hold. Then I think of my upper back gliding me down. Now, the other option here is to take, I'm going to have to slide down just a little bit. Right. So from here, I can take the towel and I can hold on to it. It's like the old, those of you that remember the old ab rollers. It's kind of like an ab roller. It just cradles your head, your upper back, and on your exhale breath, you gently pull into the upper belly, hold, and return down on the inhale. And again, we're going to go up on that exhale. So you choose which way you would want to go. The mode of the towel feels better. If the holding on to the bill of a cat feels better. Here's 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9, breathing out, breathing in on the way down, and last one, up and bring it on down. So from here, we're going to release our towel, or if you're holding on to your hat, and we're going to take our legs a little wider than your hips. Your arms are going to go out into a T position. From here, we're going to engage the rotators of the lower part of your body, and you're going to think about your bones of your pelvis are going to move your legs over to the right of the room, and that's done with your stomach muscles. And then we're going to exhale breath, pull into the stomach muscles and let them draw your legs back. So just drawing in, taking it over, holding, draw into your belly and pull back. It's like a slow rainstorm, and my legs are my windshield wipers, and you have to and it wipes off the windscreen and goes over to the other side. This nice, easy rainstorm. And pull back. And over, inhale over. And right here, exhale from the belly, pulls my legs back. And over. And from the belly, pulls my legs back. One more, over. And from the belly, pull back. One more to the other side. And over. And pull back. All right, that was super nice. I mean, that really made my back feel good, and it should make your back feel really good too. So from here, we're going to go ahead and we're going to take into a upper body twist now. So I move my hat because it's falling off all the time. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take that rolling pin, and you're going to take it in your hands. So we're kind of like this. And I want you to take your right leg out, really stretch it out, and your left leg, and be wider than your hips. Your heel of the hand is just right a little bit lower than your chest. And what we're going to do is we're going to roll over to the right. And as I roll to the right, my upper back rotates, my head rotates, and I'm rolling the pin out as I bend my right elbow. As I come back, my right elbow straightens, roll through the hand. I go to the other side, bending my left elbow, right arm stays straight. And exhale, pull back. And it's over. And exhale, pull back. And it's over. And exhale, pull back. Just make sure you have a nice, easy grip on that foam, or I keep calling it foam roll, the rolling pin. And just nice and easy. Or if you had a little tennis ball, you could use a tennis ball, but just make sure you have an easy grip. Adjust as you need to. and over, and this gets that upper back rotating, the neck to rotate, and bring it back. And we'll do one more, and over, and bring it back. One more to the other side, and over, and bring it back. It feels luscious. Love it. All right, so now we're going to draw our legs over to center. We're going to bend our knee, right knee, and put that leg onto the floor. My left leg's going to remain out nice and long. And let's take your rolling pin and put it back onto your pelvis and more on the crease of the hip. And just feel for levelness, because that one leg is out and you might feel that there's a little twist going on in your lower body. So really square up as much as you can and just gently holding on. And if your neck is a little tight, feel free to use a pillow. I'll mention that. I think I mentioned that at our notes, but get yourself comfortable. From here, I'm going to feel a light engagement of my muscles hugging around my organs and my bones as I lift this leg up off the mat, and then I slowly lower it down. Now, if this feels like it's too much and your pelvis is having a hard time staying stable, your spine is not stable, then bend your knee, and I'll show you on this next one. Here's the bent knee version. Here's the bent knee, and come down. So that's your option right here. Your other option is a little bit easier to stabilize, but this whole purpose of this movement here is to stabilize the spine and stabilize the pelvis and breathe. So working those deep stabilizers, the protector of keeping our spine healthy, our trunk nice and strong and lifted, and up, and up. I should be feeling this right in the middle of the leg, and up, and I have two more, and up, and one more, and up. Then bending that knee, placing it down. And I could feel all that work right in the center of the leg. So if you feel it up by the crease of the hip, check into your bones of your pelvis. That generally means that you're rocking your pelvis or rolling your pin towards your navel. And that's what we want to avoid doing, because that takes the hip socket into a place we don't want it to be. So we're going to take the other leg up and be sure and bend the knee if that's more comfortable for you. Set your pelvis. Here we go. Exhale, lift 1 and 2 and 3, deep into the belly, and 4, muscle right here working, wrapping muscle here, 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and 10. Beautiful. Bring it on down. Nice work. Set your rolling pin aside. We're going to come over onto our side leg work now. So we're going to go ahead from here. We're going to take our body on its side and take your legs. And I want you to feel the sensation of, it's like you're stretching your legs far away from your waist. It's like really stretch them out. A little tiny bit of a V shape, not much. We don't want to have our legs way back here. We don't want them way over here either. We want them just slightly forward of the hip. Then we're going to take the rolling pin and we're going to place it so I can feel my bones of my pelvis and or the flesh of my lower belly into the rolling pin to remind me not to roll backwards or roll forward. I'm actually feeling the sensation of pushing in my belly into the rolling pin as I'm working. It's just giving me some feedback. So we're going to lift up both legs. And as I lift both legs up, what I'm feeling is the waist and that inner leg on the bottom leg. That's what's pushing the top leg up. And it's X. And you can see I'm not going far. It's because I'm tight on the outside of my leg and it's not allowing me to go far. And if I went far, I'd probably have to contort my body to do that. So it's exhale, inhale back, exhale up, inhale back, exhale up, inhale back, exhale up, inhale back, exhale up, inhale back. I believe we have 3 more, and back, and 2, and back, and 1, and back. And then what we'll do is we'll take that bottom leg, we're going to bend it so it's at 90 degrees, and I'm still got my pelvis into that rolling pin. I'm going to take the leg, and here you have an option again of bending the knee, keeping the knee bent. It will bring the stress off of your back and your body, and then as you get stronger, just take the leg out straight. But for today, you choose. I'm going to have the leg straight, but you choose which one you want to do, knee bent or leg straight. Here we go. We're going to swing the leg forward. We're going to bring it back, but I want you to keep your bones of your pelvis anchored into the rolling pin. So as we're moving, I'm trying not to move my rolling pin, and back. So we go forward and bring it back, and forward and bring it back, and forward and bring it back, and forward and bring it back. We're going to do one more, forward and bring it back. Then we're going to bend the knee, drop your pin, reach around, and give yourself a nice, what we call a quad stretch. So the top of the thigh should be feeling a stretch. And if your knee doesn't allow you to bend this deeply, you can do have a rope, use a towel, whatever might feel good. And if there's pain in your knee, please don't go there. Just kind of rest and just be there where you are. And for right now, for today, because tomorrow's a new day. One more breath here. And I'm going to release, and that whole time I had my belly really sucked in there, holding on. So now we're going to take ourselves and we're going to swoosh ourselves around. Okay. And doing the same thing, different view, same thing. I'm going to take that rolling pin, place it right into my pelvic bones. So I have my pelvic bones here and here. I want them stacked right on top of one another. So this is just kind of a nice reminder to help me stay there, gently holding on, and I'm pushing my pelvic bones into here as I lift up. My energy of work is in the waist and in the inner thigh of the bottom leg. A nice little thought too is on the bottom waist to really keep that engaged as well, and that'll help hold. We're all about holding our trunk really stable here. And oops, I'm falling backwards. Two more for us. 1 and 2, and holding position. That's great. Bend that bottom knee, take the top leg, keep it up. I'm going to hold my top pelvis right in here as I swing my leg forward and bring it back. Again, feel free to do the same thing with the knee bent. Works just as good. We're just swinging through, challenging our trunk to stay stable, or our core to work the stabilization as we mobilize our leg. And forward and back, and we have 3 more. Forward and back, and forward and back. And here's the last one. Forward and back, and hold. Place that down, bend the knee, reach back. Big stretch, rest, breath. And one more breath here. And again, you do what's comfortable for your leg, your thigh. And then we'll release it. We're going to come up into a sitting position. And from here, we're almost done. So hang in there. So I want you to, if you need to sit up on your chair, feel free to sit up on your chair here. If you're sitting up off the floor, just feel your spine really lift you up. Really feel everything picking your ribs right up off the floor. We're going to take our rolling pin, and this is kind of like washing the window kind of thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the rolling pin out. We're going to come up. We're going to roll down just to the shoulder line, push out, up, down. There's for 2. Here's 3 and 4. Just moving the shoulder blades, moving the arms. 5 and 6 and 7. One more, and 8. Reverse it, pulling it into the chest, so gliding it up the window, drawing it out away from the window and back into the window, and up and out. And here's for 3 And here's for 4. And here's for 5. And 6. And 7. Do what's comfortable for your body. And 8. If 2 is what it is, and that's perfect. So now we're going to take that rolling pin. We're going to keep, I almost said foam roll again, but it's not, it's a rolling pin. Okay, so I'm going to put my heel of the hand on that rolling pin. And from here, if you're sitting in your chair, you can just do this without the rolling pin. Take this arm out here, and I'm just going to roll the pin out. And as I roll the pin out, I'm just going to feel a nice stretch. And then I'm going to roll it back. And I'm going to go over for a stretch and roll it back. And over for a stretch and roll it back. One more. And just stretching out the waist. And again, you take where that arm is most comfortable for you. If you go over like this, that's perfect. If you want to take a little extra swing, that's perfect. So as we go over, you always just keep in mind it's your workout, what works best for your body today. So here's my hand on the rolling pin. This hand is in the air. Off we go. And back. And up and over as I work. I have to remind myself on this side, really lift up and over. I want to fall down and twist. And up and over and back. And up and over and back. And up and over and back. And up and over, big stretch and back. And then from there, reach out, arms go over, reaching away. Flex your wrists, just give yourself a good push out. Make sure you can see your hands in your side mirrors. Pressing away, reaching up. One more breath. My fingers are trying to reach to my head as my heel, the hand pushes the other side of the room. Then I release and come around and give myself a super hug. And then I open back up and then I reverse that hug. Big hug there. Breath in, breath out. And then you pat yourself on the back and say, hey, you did it. Perfect. Thank you for being here. That was pretty darn awesome. And we will look forward to seeing you tomorrow, Saturday at 11. If not, if I don't see you tomorrow, we will be seeing you on Monday for the Monday workout, right? So enjoy your weekend. Have a happy, happy Friday and see you again real soon. Bye-bye.